Late Night News.
Late night? Man, you late covering these things.
The LNR, Late News Radio.
Hello and welcome back again to the Late News Radio. And yeah, we're still in the March, in the middle of March, at least when this time got recording. Now, it's either close to March or something else. But the thing is, even though we're in the March, we'll still receive so many news. I would say tons of motorsport news that we're going to cover, and obviously I am late some of it to cover it. So let's just start off with in Formula One. So even though I am late to cover the race result of the first race and the first two races, but I just cover it anyway. So George Russell, as you might know, takes pole at Melbourne and convert it into a win. He got the first win of this season, and the next race is the opposite one. The Kimi Antonelli is finally got his first ever maiden win in Shanghai. And to top it off, there's other Mercedes driver, I will say a former Mercedes driver, got his first maiden podium for the new team. Finally, Lewis Hamilton got his first ever podium for a Ferrari. Now, we remember last year that we got his first sprint win, but it just doesn't count, and it doesn't really matter. And throughout the entire season, he just went winless and podiumless, which some things that, oh man, that's not good. That's bad. But now he got first ever podium, and it's quite a relief for him. Now we just talk about the race result for the Melbourne and the I would say recap for the Melbourne and the Shanghai. Now, as you might know, George Russell takes the podium alongside with Kimi Antonelli, make his Mercedes 1-2. Ferrari quite strong. Charles Leclerc takes the podium on the Melbourne, and one thing is for certain that Oscar Piastri is nowhere seen on the top 10, nor even a top 20, because apparently he did not start the race. Yikes. Well, it's pretty much like a Charles Leclerc in the Monaco 2021 sort of things. So yeah, it's quite bad. And doesn't really matter because Lando Norris is, the one who finished P5. At least he got points for McLaren. And somehow in Shanghai, both McLaren did not start the race for some reason whatsoever. And to make it worse, that Max Verstappen somehow DNF in one of those races. Yikes. It's just surprising to me that these three guys in last year, they were like a top, they were like India, they were like the McQueen, Chicks, Hicks, and the King. Okay, they're the one who chased for the win, chased for the championship. Okay, and now it's just there. It kind of remembering me like Lewis Hamilton in 2022. Last year they were like top dog. They were like the one who gonna get the championship, but they missed the championship. And we expected that next year is gonna be a redemption year, and turned out to be absolutely nowhere. So I kind of have the same vibe as them. Okay, maybe the RBPT4, it kind of like learning a little bit, okay? And the McLaren Mercedes, and there's a bit of a news when it comes to like a Mercedes powertrain that they just don't want to share their data into their customer team for some reason. They just like, nope, I get the win, okay, I get the performance, you get the engine, and that's it. So yeah, that's might be the problem why like the other Mercedes customer team didn't perform well. Haas F1 team, they're doing well, and they're gonna teasing the new livery, I would say a Godzilla livery for the Japan race. And speaking of a Japan race, this day it is a race week, ladies and gentlemen, racing at Suzuka, and we already seen a livery Visa Cash App that somehow is quite a remnants to the RB21 Honda livery. Damn, this sister team, it just did not stop to make a really good livery. Now, okay, going back to the official result, you got the Visa Cash App, I would say. They perform okay. Aston Martin, even though they didn't finish the race, at least they came home with the data. Not with the points, but with data, okay? I don't care what people say, but it is quite important. It's an actual data for the car, okay? At least that was the most important thing they need to collect, okay? Not points yet, okay? They need to collect a data, okay, in order to make the car less problematic, I would say. And speaking of Aston Martin, there's like a lot of news going around. I'm going absolutely nowhere when it comes to Formula One. Now, Jonathan Whitley is somehow leaving Audi, and the replacement, at least this time around, Mattia Binotto, which we're gonna see another Spinella. I don't know, you still remember that 2019 joke or like a 2020 joke, like Pronto Spinella. Still got to remember that you got elite ball knowledge and that things. And alongside with that, Adrian Newey is stepped down from a team principal. Well, that's a well, that's a I would say a puzzle. I would say it's not even it's not even coincidence. It's actually on purpose. It's not coincidence. That's the thing. Okay, probably Jonathan Whitley gonna join Aston Martin as a team principal, and Adrian Newey working the things that what Aston Martin does have a problem with. So yeah, that's the cover when it comes to Aston Martin. Now, speaking of the Aston Martin, despite the problematic with the engine and the car and so on and so forth, somehow that team has more points lap. I would say let more laps than the McLaren, because apparently McLaren did not start both of them and on Shanghai for whatever reason. And yeah, that's just like a quick fun fact to you. And of course, Aston Martin were not gonna run any special livery for their cars, because they're gonna focusing on the car, which I think that's the best way. Okay, they focus on the car and pretty much that's it. And when it comes to like a new team like Audi, they finish quite solid. Okay, they got first points in Melbourne and the Shanghai. I do quite forget. And Cadillac, it was there too. I mean, it was a new team anyway, so we're not expecting much. Okay, it's a new team. Okay, they got quite limited resources. It's quite challenging when you have a new team without even resources from the previous team. So props to them. So they got balls to to make an F1 team. At least they finished the race. They finished the sprint race. They finished a second race. So that's most important things. Now, when we talk about Formula One, obviously some of you guys probably going to mention Max Verstappen. Now, when we talk about Max Verstappen itself, if you're living under the rock, that he's going to compete at 24 Hours Nürburgring this year with his own team, Verstappen.com Racing or Verstappen Racing, Team Redline, whatever you call these things, in the Mercedes AMG GT3, complete with the Red Bull livery. And I wish it was 2021, because it will went crazy if we saw that in that year. But anyways, though, he did compete some other endurance, I would say, much narrow endurance Nürburgring race, and he did in fact win the race, but ended up disqualified for some tire usage reason. Now, when we talk about Nürburgring, there is other one manufacturer that kind of interest us. Now, BMW, he's made of like I would say like a really obscure race car. Now, last year, we have some April Fool's joke, again, as per, even though we didn't reach the April Fool's, but one of the BMW April Fool's joke is releasing a BMW M3 Estate, or say M3 Touring GT3. So basically, it was an estate car, it was a wagon, but a race car, but a GT3 race car. Now, we all know it turns out to be a joke, but because the cup is so high, they made it anyway, and they're gonna racing at 24 Hours of Nürburgring this year. Even though it's just only for one race, pretty much like a Garage 55 NASCAR that they run in Le Mans 2023, but still, it is still cool to see. And it's just cool that manufacturer made some exciting and interesting, or I would say an obscure race car for some certain race. Even though a couple days later they're releasing an electric BMW, to some certain people think that it was a hideous car. But anyways, though, at least we got that wagon race car, and Nürburgring has some history when it comes to wagon race cars, so it's just cool to see, and I'm excited to see that. So I think that's it for the Formula One. We got the teasing for the Godzilla Haas F1 team. Quite interesting, since it was a sponsored by Toyota. I mean, Godzilla is always related about GTR and Nissan. Just saying. And yeah, speaking of the Formula One, I think that's it. Now we're gonna talk about NASCAR, but later on we're gonna talk about a World Rally Championship because we never talked about it before. Now you might know that the Toyota, or I would say people on the internet speculating that gonna releasing a GR Corolla, sorry, the GR Celica based on the anime they made last year, and in the new testing because the 2027 is going to be a different regulation for the WRC. Uh, to be honest with you, I don't read that completely. So there you go. You got new regulation for the WRC next year, and there's a bit of a testing car. Now one of them is Toyota, but one thing that is sparking people interest is not the car itself. I mean, it's not gonna be another evolution of a GR Yaris, or they're gonna make a GR Corolla on the WRC, but instead the car they're testing, or like the test car, the camouflage car, it was in fact a coupe. It wasn't a hatchback or another hatchback, but a coupe. So people speculate it's gonna be a new GR Celica based on the some of the part of the old Toyota Celica, like something on the hood, and people kind of matchmaking as if it was a puzzle. But I don't know. Maybe it was gonna be a new Celica. I'm hoping it's gonna be a new Celica. We all hoping that's gonna be a new Celica. So that's for the Toyota stuff. Now M Sport on the other hand has some of the I would say I don't know. I would say interesting stuff because apparently it is still it's still rumors. Mike Bolt on that one. Ford is gonna be plugging out on the WRC program, so we don't see that Puma WRC anymore next year. Probably that's might be it. And there's other rumors that Lincoln Co gonna be entering a WRC 2027 season next year. Yeah. Again, it is still a rumors. It is still a speculation. Who knows that we're probably going to see a different Ford, maybe a Mustang rally car for the M Sport. And I'm still hoping that M Sport still keeping up with the Ford. Doesn't matter, it's not going to be a Puma anymore, but I hope it's going to be a Mustang. I mean, imagine Mustang rally car, Mustang WRC car. We seen that on Gran Turismo, but we didn't see that real life. I mean, we have a Mustang Mach-E rally car, but it's technically a different car. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the quite a I would say that's the news that I can cover from the WRC. Maybe there's more things to cover, but that's it for now. Okay. Quick late news at this episode. Takamatsu Katsuta got his first ever win at the Safari Rally Kenya 2026, and the number 7 Porsche Penske car win at the Sebring race with that striking Mobile 1 livery. Now, back to the main news. Now, we talk about a NASCAR. We see tons of news. Okay, one of them is a Cletus McFarlane. You might know that Cletus is going to be racing with RCR, driving the number 33 cars on the O'Reilly Autosport. Now it's not an Xfinity anymore, it's an O'Reilly Autosport. You got the hell yeah brother on that things. Now look, okay, we seen him on the truck series. It didn't go well, but who knows that it did at least perform decent on the O'Reilly series. Now, when it comes to like a Cup series, for the other Chevy drivers, we see an absence. One of them. Now, if you didn't know, or if you're living under a rock, one of the Hendrick cars driver, I would say Hendrick driver, is an absent. Alex Bowman did not compete in any 3 races lately, and replacing with other Antonio Alfredo, Justin Allgaier, some other O'Reilly Auto Parts series drivers that has some ties with Hendrick. So you might seen Bowman name on that, or maybe seen like an Li 44 car, but it wasn't Alex Bowman, that's for sure. Now, speaking of the NASCAR, after the Tyler Reddick 3 wins in a row, we got Ryan Blaney take the win. I mean, it's quite a relief. It's quite a drivers. And the next one is a bit of a wholesome one. I would say it's a redemption, but it's a wholesome win. Denny Hamlin, after the whole things happened to him last year, he finally struck a win this season, and it's just quite a relief. Look, we see like a sort of a villain on the NASCAR and somehow became a good person. The thing is, I see him win on the 2026 seasons. It's quite a relief. And to top it off, this year at Darlington, apart from like the lack of a Darlington throwback in there, I mean, you got the RFK and the Spire Motorsport with their Greg Biffle and the Dallin Hard, paint scheme. Tyler Reddick finally get his another win, 4th win on this season. That is extraordinary. That is quite something. And to top it off, when it comes to an RFK, which I'm a huge RFK fan. Okay, I'm a Roush fan. Okay, at least they got a good result with that good-looking paint scheme. Okay, be like Biff, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the only thing I can cover from the NASCAR. Alex Bowman wasn't in the last 3 races, as far as I know. What else? I think that's it for the that news. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. If you like what you listen, please smash the subscribe button, and most importantly, drive safe and goodbye.